was a tough period of time for a lot of different reasons. We parted ways with the team, and it's sort of just like you've got everything and then you got nothing, and it's like you're standing there, you know, sort of like, okay, now what's next? And there was a lot of question about even what I was going to be doing for 2026. I felt more comfortable just staying home. There had been so much disappointment over the last few years for me at the racetrack that I frankly just couldn't bear too much more of it. So wanted to make sure I was in a good spot. I might not have came back this year if it didn't feel like a place I wanted to be. And if we weren't all obsessed with the same goal, these people, we're on the same page. We want to win races, we want to win the Aiken Award, and we want to go to Le Mans. So it's like, I feel like for the first time in a long time, I've got everybody that's like, we're standing shoulder to shoulder and we're ready for battle.
With that privilege, when you go from loving cars, seeing cars, now racing cars, and you're with a team that is established like that, what does that do for you as a driver? How does that change everything?
It's funny because in the moment, because I hadn't really been in any other team environments, I didn't really know until after the fact, just like, even something as silly as, I remember, it sounds so funny, but like just the way some teams, and you could tell the high level teams, like the way they wrap the hoses in the box. Like, it sounds so silly, but one of the things like I picked up on very early was like the way that they are methodical about how they wrap the hoses for the air guns. And it's like, so during a stop, it unravels perfectly when somebody goes to pull the hose. And sometimes, you know, in maybe, you know, a more grassroots or a family team, like they're not dotting the I's and crossing the T's quite the same. And so it's like little things like that that are, you know, they take you from like, okay, this is a good team to like a dynasty team, right? You know, I'm with a really great group of people that they've proven over a long period of time that they know how to win. And in our early discussions, I sort of walked into it and I said, you know what? I clearly have shown that I don't know the recipe, and you guys know the recipe really well. So I've taken a lot of things that I would normally be focused on that aren't, you know, just the small details. And I've sort of relinquished all of those things to, you know, I feel lighter on my feet this time around, just not focusing on the small details.
Is that an approach that you hadn't taken before and then you did something to get comfortable letting go?
Yeah, I mean, it's just in the past, like with sponsor obligations and just making sure the suits are what they wanted and making sure that the car looks perfect and, you know, just fulfilling a lot of those small details. It's just as a driver, you know, it's nice letting somebody else handle all that heavy stuff. And right now I'm just focused on the driving and, you know, how I can help the team maximize.
What is the different dynamic with you and the other three drivers on the team? Like if it's like a movie, what's everyone's role in the superhero squad?
Oh, wow. Romain's main character.
Okay.
Should we give him something like fireproof maybe? Like
yeah, there you go.
Hey, he jokes about it.
No, I know.
Jenson. I don't know. Jenson, I feel like is like, everybody keeps joking that he's like a puppy or something because he's like the young one and this is his first Rolex. But I don't know. I feel like Jenson's like almost like an emergency worker or something. Like I feel like he's very ready and stable and he knows the task at hand. So I think Felipe is like the rock. Like not the rock like Dwayne Johnson, like the rock of the team. Like I think like it's funny, maybe because he's Brazilian and because I'm into fighting, I'm like, oh, okay, like he like reminds me of like Alex Pereira a little bit. Like I think he's just got this levelness and a stability to him.
What's your role on the team?
My role in the team is stability and consistency in the early phases, and I think it's just putting in the time and, you know, letting these more experienced guys.
Sheena Monk, Felipe Fraga, Jenson Altzman, and Romain Grosjean.
Joining the Stream team was no easy feat. It came with a late start and a fair share of setbacks.
Holy cows, Sheena Monk has had a huge offset.
That car was a long, long way up in the air.
Most people are veterans in this sport at 28. You were getting your license at that point, and then you started racing. What was it that got you to start later? Like, what made you decide this is what you wanted to be doing?
It's something I always wanted to do. My dad raced motorcycles, and you know, I grew up with like a dirt bike and a go-kart kind of thing, but never anything competitive. It's a shame. My dad actually at one point when I was like maybe 4 or 5 asked me if I wanted to race quarter midgets, and unfortunate for me, I said no, and I wanted to play soccer. So, you know, that's sort of like those hindsight's 2020 kind of moments, and I wish I did, you know, get in the car at that point in time.
So
but
what was it then later that you said, all right, I'm going to do this now?
I've just always been car crazy. So like, you know, I think starting in like maybe 2nd grade, like I could tell you cover to cover what all the stats were in a motor trend. And so for me, I think it started out as like really like a car obsession. And then as I got older, it was like, whoa, like cars and racing. And, you know, there's a lot of overlap and blend. And, you know, not to say that I've abandoned my car passion, but now I'm so much more race focused. I think there's beautiful poetry about racing, and there's just so many storylines through it that I find compelling.
From a practical standpoint, though, like what did it change in your life? Did it suddenly you're not home anymore? Like, what did you have to sort of sacrifice or invest in?
My family won't let me get any more dogs. I'm going to throw that in there. So
how many do you have?
I had 3, and yeah, I'm being pressured. No more dogs.
No more dogs.
Yeah, just because I'm away quite a bit. So just don't want to throw that onto anybody else. But I mean, listen, I wouldn't trade it, and I don't think, you know, anybody would, right? If you get plopped into this and it's like you get to wear the suit and the shoes, and you get to go in front of the crowd, and you get to hear the engines roar, and, you know, you're taking the green flag or the checker flag. It's a privilege, right?
Totally. You had a crash at the end of your first season. That was pretty bad. But what you said after I thought was very interesting, which it's silly to let your life be defined by a couple of seconds of problems, which is a pretty profound way to talk about obviously something that was very severe and look at it in that way. Like, where did that mindset come from?
I mean, I grew up with like in a single mother household. She worked, you know, a couple jobs at the same time at different, you know, to see somebody handling adversity constantly that way, and just learning from the ability to just press on. I think it's a shame, you know, to get to a point like when you're just scratching the surface of like where you want to be, and really like truly living a dream to you know, there's always going to be a setback, right? And things are never going to go perfect. And so it's just understanding that like if you're right on the edge of what you've really dreamt of, you know, how do you let something like that define you? And I think that like in general, I think race car drivers have like a short memory when it comes to things like that. You have to. If you didn't and you let those things stay with you and bother you, then you really frankly couldn't go back out there again. So, I mean, for me, it's just having the courage to understand and knowing yourself and trusting yourself enough to walk away and say, didn't go the way I hoped for, but it's just a small instance in time.
Related to that, there was last season, the season was cut short early because you and sponsors parted away from the team early. What are the steps that you take to then kind of remind yourself of that, to keep yourself in a good headspace? Like, how do you manifest that or make that real for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, that was a tough period of time for a lot of different reasons. I mean, it sounds silly, but like personally, I had lost 2 dogs right back to back in that time period. And, you know, then we parted ways with the team. And it's sort of just like, you've got everything and then you got nothing. And it's like, you're standing there, you know, sort of like, okay, now what's next? And there was a lot of question about even what I was going to be doing for 2026. And it came together extremely late. And somebody had reached out to me and they said, is there even a prospect of you racing, you know, this coming year? And I said, I'm leaning towards no. And for me, if it wasn't feeling like I was going to be in a top environment with a proper shot at going to win races, it really wasn't even on my radar to come back. If it wasn't what felt perfect to me, then, you know, I felt more comfortable just staying home. There had been so much disappointment over the last few years for me at the racetrack that I frankly just couldn't bear too much more of it. So wanted to make sure I was in a good spot.
How do you keep yourself, like when you are living through that, you're fighting through it? Because it's not easy, as you said. And how do you keep yourself in the right space? Is it the workouts, the family, the friends? Like, what's the reset?
Honestly, it's like I can't even be jaded about it. It's like there's people with way bigger problems out there. And so kind of ridiculous for me to be pouting around that I'm not going racing. But it was just, I mean, honestly, it was just the belief that we were going to get back out here. And even if it wasn't this year, it might have been the next year. I didn't feel like I was done when things fell apart last year, but it was just a matter of when, I guess.
There's real value in having the option or the ability to wait for the right thing versus just jumping into anything.
Yeah. And I had told somebody, even a few days ago, like, I might not have came back this year if it didn't feel like a place I wanted to be, and people that, it sounds dramatic, right? But I said, like, I want to be with people that I want to go to war with. Like, I want us to go out there and bleed together. And I know that sounds dramatic, but it's like, if we weren't all obsessed with the same goal, then it wasn't for me. And quite frankly, like, the folks at Riley Motorsports, and now, we've got Mr. Myers from Three Dog Garage joining us. It's like these people, we're on the same page. It's like, we want to win races, we want to win the Aiken Award, and we want to go to Le Mans. So it's like, everybody, I feel like for the first time in a long time, I've got everybody that's like, we're standing shoulder to shoulder, and we're ready for battle.
How does it feel having this be your home? Like, maybe elaborate on that more. You talked about the ropes being round the right way in the past. Like, what is it about this team, this group of people, the drivers that you're going to be sharing the car with, that has you really excited for this race, and then obviously for the rest?
Who doesn't want to say that they've been driving with a Formula One driver?
Have fun.
We've got Jenson's the junior factory driver. Felipe, he just won his stock car championship. So it's like, I mean, these are incredible people to be alongside and getting to learn from. And they're all incredibly helpful towards me. So a lot of that's a pinch me moment for me. And as far as the team goes, it's like, you've got people that have won this race 20 times. They've got the recipe.
It's pretty wild.
And so it's like, you just have to trust. Candidly, there was a session the other day for the bronzes that we didn't put the car out, and I really wanted to go out even when the track started drying up, but I need to trust that these people know how to win this race. And so that for me was enough to just accept what was happening. And I think that's actually probably a good theme of where I'm at right now, is like acceptance. It's like, okay, I'm putting everything into their hands and just believing in the direction that they go.
Let's go back to the manifestation bit. I know Le Mans is a dream of yours and the goal that you've got set. When you close your eyes and you think about being there, like, describe for us what that feeling is, what that goal means to you.
It obviously means a lot to me, especially when I put so much emphasis and so much focus on it. But when I think about Le Mans, I think about the people in my inner circle more than I think about myself. And I think about the pride and the emotion of being there with them. So it's like my family and the closer people in my life, and what that would be like for them to experience.
And if you could go back and give yourself advice or whisper something in your ear, back on the podium in Italy when you had first raced, what would that be?
Probably to just breathe and take it a day at a time, and that, there's going to be ups and downs, and, there's going to be people that have doubts and they say things and it's going to get in your ear, and just to have a short memory on the things that aren't going your way or people that are critical of you, and to stay dedicated and to stay true to yourself. I think that's one of the biggest things for me, was like, I've gotten to do this how I wanted to do it. And sometimes there were missteps, and sometimes I've been where I should be. Right now feels like one of those times where I am where I should be, and trust the journey. It's been a little tougher than I would have liked. I would have hoped to have a smidge more success, but ultimately there's going to be a day where I look back, or I drive by one of the places maybe that I got to race, or I go see a race there, and it's going to be tough to capture what it was like again in the moment, but to just love it for what it is, whatever ends up coming my way.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Good luck this weekend, and then good luck this season.
Thank you very much.
If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to check out our full playlist and to subscribe to the channel for more racing content just like it. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next one.